Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Morning in the Mountains, a podcast which talks about the more eccentric and peculiar habits of UK life and culture. Well, today we're going to talk about charity shops. Charity shops. Let me explain first of all what a charity shop is. Well, many years ago, our high streets, that's the places where we go shopping, generally they're referred to as the high streets, although they may have other names. These streets used to be full of fishmongers, butchers, supermarkets, newsagents, and places for us to meet each other. Somewhere around 1990, these large supermarkets, particularly the ones that sold groceries, started to merge with each other, and there was an opinion that the American style was best. And that meant that many of them moved to a kind of a central park which exists a few miles outside of town. This continued, so what we have now are these major, huge shopping malls with a dominant supermarket inside which sells everything from fish, meat, newspapers, and also in these shopping malls there's other smaller shops as well to buy clothes and things, although the supermarkets also do that. And the high streets left empty. So by the mid-90s and the late 90s, we had a scenario where our high streets were all empty. So the government started to offer big incentives to get shops to be in them. At the same time, a lot of charities were calling out for donations, such as the British Heart Foundation, Cancer Research, and a few others. They started moving into the high street, and as you know, we live in a very disposable culture. You buy something one week, you get rid of it the next, you buy the next fashionable thing. To leave these things outside your house, you could get into trouble from the government. To give them to family and friends, well, it might not suit their taste, and most British people now don't really operate within any kind of family network. Some people do, but it's not common, bearing in mind many of us live alone. So the result was these shops started crying out for donations. Time passed by, and now we have a scenario where if anyone dies or if you have stuff you don't want, you don't even have to take it to the charity shop. You can just call them and say, hey, can you come and pick up this box of books? Can you come and take away my sofa because I had a new one? And that's the way it is. So we have charity shops which will take anything, and on the high street they will repair it, refurbish it, and will sell it again for a quarter of the price of buying it new. As a result, these charity shops are very popular. Now, there was a time, perhaps around the year 2005, 2006 onwards, we started using charity shops, but the older people especially felt a bit uncomfortable buying second-hand clothes, buying stuff second-hand. There was kind of a snobbery. It was something maybe that people with a bit of money thought, that's what common people do, or poor people, they buy stuff from charity shops. But once we got over that, now charity shops are a big part of everyday life. You buy a book, you give the book back, you buy a new one. It's kind of like a library, but you don't have to join it and it only costs you £1. Also, these shops sell other things which they make. For example, they're selling masks during COVID, and other little pin badges to show that you support them and these things. So they are actually very good. It's a great place to go if you're looking for a bargain, and there's no longer any stigma attached to going there. So it's a big part of our life. If you go to any town centre, you'll find at least one charity shop. My town centre has no real shops anymore. It only has charity shops as all the shops have moved out to the local mall. There isn't even a supermarket in my local town centre, which is very sad. But at the same time, at least there's still something there to go to. I think there's a post office and the rest are all charity shops. That tells you a little bit about what they are. So let's name a few of them. British Heart Foundation, Cancer Research, there's others. Barnardo's, which is one for children without parents. And I think there might even be a few religious ones for various, not churches, but various church hospitals and these things, which still exist here. So if you want a bargain, the charity shop is the place to go. And to be honest, if you just walk into the charity shop, you probably wouldn't know that it was second hand, except it might not appear so professional. There might be something just doesn't feel right. The shop might look a little bit, not dirty, but maybe the fashions or the stuff that you see on the shelves, you might get an idea that there's something there. And certainly with things like music and records, you would know they were second hand. Yeah. And the people who work in these shops are all volunteers who give their time. Oxfam operates a very nice eBay store as well, especially Oxfam Music. Yeah, that's one of our biggest charity shops in the UK. Well, that's an introduction to charity shops. So we're going to hear a little interview now because I asked my Spanish friend Emilio all about his views on charity shops because he came to the UK to live and he basically buys everything from charity shops. He sees it as a really good bargain. So let's ask him. Here's the interview that I recorded with him yesterday, and I hope you enjoy it. And just before we pass over to that, remember to follow me on social media. If you're not following me already, go to teacherjoseph.com. There you'll find my links on the front page to Facebook and YouTube, and you can follow me at any time. As you know, today's topic is charity shops. And with me today is my dear friend Avilio. Avilio is from Spain. He was rather shocked when he came here to learn that we have charity shops on every street corner. So, Avilio, tell us your thoughts on charity shops. Tell us what you think about them. You can also tell us really what your surprise was coming here from another country to see our high streets full of them. Okay, so when you're ready in your own time, just give us a few words to describe your experience and what you think of charity shops here.
I was surprised that the charity shops here are everywhere. In Spain, we don't have this experience till very recently. And it's very strange that they have practically everything. You can furnish a house completely, and you can find clothes, furniture, CDs, books. There was some 2 or 3 that were in Spain, like Oxfam, and another 2 that I don't remember. But now the situation is different.
Oh, thank you for your input there. Tell me, would you use charity shops? I mean, do you feel there's any kind of snobbery or class system between people who would use charity shops and people who wouldn't? Because they're kind of common and everywhere. What's your thoughts on that? I mean, do you have any kind of concerns about using them? People seeing you going into a charity shop, do you think there would be any kind of concern in your mind about that?
Well, there was something about the charity shop that, for example, the clothes. No, don't go to charity shop because you will have clothes from dead people and things like this. A little bit sad because sometimes it's clothes that are failures from shops or big marks, big brands,
Marks and Spencer.
Marks and Spencer, for example, and another ones that I cannot remember now, but you can find that thing without opening it. There are clothes that only have a little failure or a thing like this.
Well, to use an English idiom, no one likes walking in dead man's shoes, that's for sure. However, I've never thought about stigma regarding charity shops. It seems to me that it's quite normal and natural, although wearing other people's clothes, who knows though? Maybe they wore them only once, maybe they bought them and it was the wrong size and never wore them. But would that have been a concern in your mind, do you think, about maybe second-hand furniture or things like that?
No, they are perfectly useful and in very good shape. They are cleaning completely, and the prices are very, very, very good. All that I have in my house is from charity shops, from the kitchen to the furniture.
Right, very interesting. It seems to be commonplace now. Everyone uses them. So I don't know of any town in the UK that doesn't have at least 2 or 3 charity shops in the high street, because as you know, we don't really have many others. Do you think the UK has more of a disposable culture than in Spain then? Because if the charity shops everywhere, maybe in Spain people like to keep the furniture of their parents or their grandparents. I mean, it seems to me everyone has an attic full of stuff that they don't use in Spain. What do you think about that?
No, I remember that in Spain I can find furniture in the street free, but you have to carry on with all the things. But really, it's a question of culture. Lately, I have seen my friends and people that told me how the shops in Spain are selling things like furniture, and that in my time they always sell clothes. Now they sell furniture and white goods and things like that.
Oh, very interesting. Very interesting. So you think charity shops are going to be the way forward for any kind of capitalist country which is a large disposable culture? Because there is nothing else for us to do with it. I mean, if you try to give it to someone, they'll tell you they don't want it because it doesn't suit their tastes. For example, if you had a piece of furniture, if you leave it outside your door, there's a chance someone might take it, but there's also a chance someone might not take it. And it doesn't look very nice as well.
And here there is not a culture of letting the things outside the house like in Spain, because they don't have a day of picking up the things that are in the street. So in the case that you left a sofa in the front of your house, the chances are that you are being punished by this thing.
Yeah, you can get into big trouble if you just leave furniture outside your house here. Also, if it rains, because you know we have a very wet climate here, the furniture you leave, like a sofa or a mattress or a bed, very quickly will become dirty and moldy. So it is not something that you would want to do. So overall then, charity shops serve a purpose, is what you're saying. So are there any negative things about charity shops? Any negative things? I mean, presumably these things could carry disease. Personally, I like them because it's like a library. You can go buy any book you want, give it back, take another for only £1, you know. So what do you think of any negative consequences of charity shops?
No, because it's something that is regarding to capitalism, responsible capitalism, that make you think about the time of wasting the thing, the time of the time of disposal, the thing. No, it's in the responsible capitalism, you can use a good for the time that you consider that is yours and give it to another person or another organization.
A way of sharing.
The way of sharing time with the thing. I remember one of the slogans of this charitable organization, and that is the way that you make that the things that you love be loved by another person.
Interesting. You know, a strange thing is that when I was in, which country was it? I think it might have been the Netherlands, or maybe it was Germany, but they have like little bookcases. And you can leave a book and take a book and read them free. It's like a little library. Yeah, yeah. We have something similar. We can leave books on trains, and you just write on there when you left it and where you left it. And the idea is to see how far the book goes. I think you can register it online or something like that. But we don't have that idea of books exactly. I don't. I mean, we don't have that idea of not registering or leaving them in a book cabinet, something like this. You know, very interesting your thoughts there on charity shops. So finally, then, just tell me, what's the last thing you bought from a charity shop?
Clothes. I bought a coat or something like that.
Oh, is that green coat I saw you wearing the other day? Is it?
The same one.
It looks very new and very swish, very fashionable. Yeah, yeah, very nice, very nice. Well, everyone, that was a little interview with my dear friend Avilio, telling us his thoughts on charity shops. So they are everywhere. There was a kind of stigma about using them at one point, but I think everyone just accepts it that they're maybe amongst some of the older people, they might still have an issue with that, or maybe not. In fact, the last time I was in a charity shop, it was full of old people, and there was old people working in there as well, because they're all volunteers. They clean, they do things in the charity shop to make it look nice, even though they're not paid for it. So I guess that's another way of contributing to the community. Well, thank you very much for your thoughts there, Avilio, and that's all from me for today. So remember, check me out on my website, teacherjoseph.com, for more podcasts like this, and the links to Facebook and YouTube. If you're not following me already, you can follow me soon. So excellent. Lovely to interact with you all again. Any questions or comments, please leave them in the YouTube box below. Alternatively, you can send me a message on Facebook. Thank you, everyone. Have a peaceful day, and I'll see you all again soon.